Hey, hello everyone. Welcome back to another live stream. And this time we are back with one of our biggest hackathon yet. And we are hosting this office hour just to uh, give you folks a good head start with the hackathon. And so we have office hours lined up every day until the hackathon starts so that you folks can get started as early as possible. So before jumping into the office hours, I'll just quickly brief you about the hackathon so that uh, you know that what you're going to see in the next week, right? Let me just quickly share my screen and then we'll be good to go. Just a moment. Okay, I might have to switch my browser because it's asking for the permission now. Just give me a moment. I'll be sharing the screen in a moment. I'll be back, folks. Just give me a moment. Yep. I hope am I visible now? Because I just changed my browser. Just let me know in the comments. Am I visible still? Because my chat is here, so just in case. Also, I'll just quickly share my screen. Yep. So, yep, I guess all set. Yep. So I'll just quickly share about the hackathon, folks. So we are hosting a hackathon named Agent of SigNoz next week, and the hackathon is sponsored by SigNoz, which is an observability platform where you can observe your AI agents, you can observe your LLM agents, or you can just do application observability or monitoring. And so the prize pool of this hackathon is $20,000 plus job interviews at SigNoz. If you have already not registered for the hackathon, make sure you do because this is our biggest hackathon yet. So you can just head over to www.vmedevs.org/hackathon/SigNoz, and you can just click on the register button to get started and just fill in a quick form, and then you'll be in the hackathon. What is interesting is that we are hosting a pre-event. So hackathon starts next week, but this week we are giving you an opportunity to start with SigNoz early so that you can smash your goals in the hackathon, right? So what you have to do is this week you just have to self-host SigNoz, send data to it, by setting SigNoz as your observability backend. Just produce telemetry data on any application you work or you have, and then you can just send data to SigNoz. Write about the most interesting feature about SigNoz and publish it on Medium, Hashnode, dev.to, wherever you feel we can read it. And you can just, submit your blog by clicking on this link, and then you're all set. So we are doing it this week. And if you happen to be one of the lucky winner, you will win Apple AirPods 3 or Power Beats Pro 2. So this is an exciting opportunity for folks who are, looking to get started in the hackathon early. And for the hackathon, we have like amazing prizes: Apple MacBook Air to every team member, iPad Air to every team member, and iPhone Air to every team member who will win this track. Not only this, but we also have like some swag giveaways. So make sure you make social posts that you are participating, and you can win a exclusive swags. And you can find all the relevant information on this page itself. So you can read about SigNoz here. You can give them a little star on their repository, and it's like a so they are already popular on open source. So you can just star them. I do not have my GitHub login, so I cannot, but you can. That being said, it's like it can trace your agents. It's a one-stop observability platform, and all the other things about the hackathon you can read here. So there are 3 tracks. One is AI agent, AI and AI agent observability, wherein you can maybe observe your LM agents, you can observe your AI tools. Signals and dashboards, again, you can instrument OpenTelemetry. And OpenTelemetry is again an open source project, so you don't have to, wait for any access. You can just get started as, or even now. So build your own. You can build anything, and try to observe it using SigNoz. You can browse all the project ideas here. So they have like cool list of project ideas. So again, this is an inspiration and not something that they want you to mandate. So they don't want to mandate you and want you to build only these projects. These are just ideas for you to get started, and you can either build on top of these, or you can maybe take these ideas to the next level. Judging criteria and all the FAQs are already listed here. But since this particular workshop is for helping you write good blogs, or maybe helping you decide good outline of blogs, right? So what I'll do is I'll quickly go to the blog guide, which is here. So if you haven't already checked this out, make sure you come to the website or come to the hackathon page and just check out the blog guide. So all you need to prepare a good blog guide is mentioned in this guide already. You don't have to refer to anything else. You can just read all the information which is present here, and then you'll have not only the outline, but a good blog ready as well. So I'll just quickly read out few important points from this guide, so that you folks can check mark all the things which should be there in your blog. And I'll be sharing some good and bad blog examples as well here, because we were getting blog mentions, and there were some really good blogs, and there were some blogs which were not up to the mark. So this session will help you understand on what you can add in your blog in order to make it a good blog. So again, you don't need to be a professional writer. You just have to share your experience around the tool, right? So there is only just one rule of writing a good blog, is that you have to write from your real experience. So there are some signs that your post is meaningful, that it solves a real problem. It includes details only someone who did it would know. And make sure your blog is in such a way that if I, or if someone else from technical background follows your blog, he or she is able to replicate what you are doing, right? Or what you are trying to do. And if a non-technical person is also able to replicate your blog, you have done some awesome job. It should be feature rich, and not talking about any random stuff. And make sure whenever you try a new stuff, and if you write about it, make sure you have your own thoughts mentioned as a feedback or a conclusion, so that folks reading your post will get to know, okay, this is what the writer has experienced while performing the actions. Signs your post is not meaningful is that it's rewritten version of official documentation. So most of the blogs we see out there is just the same thing which is said on the documentation reworded, right? So it feels like it's a documentation which is already present in the tools website. So we don't have to do that. We have to make sure that we are writing our own experience, and we are not referring any other guide which is already written. Don't make any generic statements like observability is very important for modern applications, which is very generic. So because if you are let's say operating a application, you need to place observability in order to understand how your application is performing. So these are some generic statements. It could have been written by someone who never opened. So again, which I was talking about, if your blog replicates to a blog which can be even written by someone who has not even experienced working with that tool, it does not make any sense, because it feels like that all the things which are written does not have any backing, right? And make sure to avoid. You can use AI for some part of the blog, but make sure to not completely write your blog using AI. You can use some parts, and I'll show you in. I'll show you shortly how you can use AI in order to get your blogs right, but just avoid writing the complete blog using AI. Few key points for you should be that you should have what you built. You should also mention if you have reached to an output, how did you reach to that output? What did you learn? Again, sharing your experience, and what's your take on the learning that you have done. So, for example, let's say if I take example of SigNoz, if you have sent data to SigNoz, how did you do it? How was your experience in setting things up? Once you sent the data, what did you see, and how did it change your everyday tasks, or did it help you in managing the application better? So these are all the points which developers or readers are looking for in the blog. So the thing which I was talking about earlier, how I instrumented my Flask app with OpenTelemetry in 30 minutes, will give you a better insight on what the blog will talk about, rather than just a guide of observability. So how I instrument my Flask app with OpenTelemetry in 30 minutes tells you that, okay, the blog will talk about something regarding Python or Flask application. It will talk about OpenTelemetry and how quickly the instrumentation took place in 30 minutes. It will talk about that. A guide to observability will again have a very vast region, and it's a very generic statement. There is a very simple structure. Again, you do not have to be like very professional or very in-depth when you are writing a blog. There are some blogs which are in depth, but again, if you want to write, or if you like to write very deep technical blogs, that's a good take, and you should write those too. But since this is a hackathon and we are on a very short span of time, you can just explore a feature in depth and maybe try to write something good on top of it. So again, your blog should have a good hook, uh, or maybe a challenge which you want to solve in that particular blog. Then how is it affecting others? The main body should contain all the things that you did in order to overcome that challenge. What was your path of implementation and how did you overcome that? And then it should have your learnings and conclusion on at the end of the blog. Again, so you should show things instead of just telling things. For example, SigNoz is a great example. SigNoz has like dashboards wherein you can show that, okay, this data I have sent and this is what uh, dashboard shows me that this is what I was doing wrong first, and this is what happened to my application, and this is how I can fix it. And that can also be done using dashboard. So make sure you include real code and configs which you have used while maybe instrumenting things, and add good validations like screenshots, some external links which speak about the same thing and are good facts. You can include those. So make sure you have all these things in place, and make sure that whenever you are writing something and you are publishing it in public, or even writing and sharing it with your colleagues as well, it should be technically same. So if you are writing a guide, it should be very easy to replicate. And so the best blog which you can write is that you have written a blog, and if someone is following that particular writing of yours, he or she is able to replicate it without falling into any error. And how can that be done? If you mention everything from start till the end. So mention prerequisites, mention you might want to change certain configs if you are working on certain systems. So everything which can go in, or taking mass or every edge cases, and then including all the edge cases in the writing, and then mentioning out loud that, okay, you might, if even if you feel like there's someone will face an error, just mention that, okay, if you're using this particular software or if you're using this particular OS, you might fail because this is not yet supported, or this might behave differently. Whatever you are mentioning, test it, verify it, and never just make a false statement because you feel like, or estimate, or make a statement out of your estimation. Now, there are a few things for this hackathon which you should avoid while making the project submission, so blog submission. So the first thing is that you have to submit the blog before 19 July. The blog should be posted on a blogging platform like Medium or Dev2, and it should not be a LinkedIn post. You can avoid AI writing by uh, following some simple patterns. So there is this good document which is on Wikipedia on science of AI writing. So you can just go through this. There are a few very good points written out here, and some common patterns of AI writing. You can just see here, get some insights and implement that in your blog. Again, all of these things are related to AI, so make sure you use AI to help you and not uh, take over your task completely. For example, you can generate few parts of the code, but don't make sure do not generate the complete code, because again it will send random data which you do not want. You want to solve real world use cases, or you want to solve or make your life easy, and that can only be done if you do things in the applications you are working with right now, right? And make sure to have a conclusion or bold statement. Don't just bury the point which you are trying to say. And while submitting the blog post for this particular hackathon, make sure you test all the commands. You have all your technical claims regarding OpenTelemetry, regarding SigNoz verified, and you have some relevant screenshots in place as well. Because for this blogging challenge, I feel like you can have some nice dashboard screenshots on how your application is sending data or how your application is behaving. I guess that was it about the complete blog guide. If you have already not written a blog, make sure you check out this guide and write a blog accordingly and then submit your blog. If you have already written your blog, you can again follow this guide and update the blog which you have already written. Right? I think I'll take just few questions before I move to the next part. So I see that there are various folks here. It's luck based. I would say blog part is not luck based. If you write a good blog and the judges feel like your blog is worth it, you can win it. Hackathons are for those who knows how to code, but what are you doing for the students who are still learning at beginning stage? So this is what we are doing. So we have every resources out here on the page, and even if you are a beginner, you can get started with SigNoz. You can get started with OpenTelemetry and start building application. I don't feel like hackathon are not for beginners, and most of our hackathons are having like 50% new folks, or 50% of the folks who participate in our hackathon are beginners, and they actually land up winning the hackathon sometime. So make sure you utilize the opportunity and uh, you know go through each and every detail which is mentioned on the website, because it will only help you upgrade your technical skills. I'll share some examples very shortly. So I'll just start with examples now. Demo of SigNoz, again, Garv, for that you'll have to come on 20th July. So if you go to the schedule, 20th July, this is the particular live stream you should be. Sorry, this one. I'm really sorry. Streamlining AI agent observability is a webinar you should look into, because here they'll talk about SigNoz and might also demo. But we also have like some office hours in place. I'll try to demo SigNoz in one of them, or maybe I'll try to do it in AI agent observability labs, where we can bring something around AI and LLM, and then we try to observe it using OpenTelemetry and SigNoz. But this one is not the one. In this one we are only talking about. We are only going to talk about blog. Both the judgment and deadline for the blog is stated as 19 July. So just to be clear, we should submit it by latest EOD 18th. Yes. I have question. We need start using SigNoz once hackathon started, right? Then how will you use SigNoz? No, you don't have to like, so project building should start after 20th, but before that you can get started with SigNoz. You can see, you can send data and you can explore its features and then write a blog. Actual project building for hackathon should start after 20th. What is not understandable? Okay, thank you. Yep, you can rewatch. Will you be demonstrating how to write a good blog post? I have read the blog post guideline, but it would be helpful if you could also provide a short. Yep. So let's jump into seeing few examples. So I'll just share few bad examples and good examples with you, and then maybe we'll use GPT to see how we can outline the blog faster. Again, since we have less time, so I'll be using GPT, but again, if you have more time, you can do it by yourself as well. So I'll show you some bad examples. Not, and now I'm not like blaming the person, so please don't take it in that way. But these are like, so these blogs could have been better if we would have followed few guideline things. So if I see this particular blog, I replayed 5 years of Git history into SigNoz. It silently drops any span older than 15 days. Again, I think the title is too long and it's really confusing because I'm not able to understand what the user is trying to say in this particular blog, right? So again, the plan was simple: turn every pull request into SigNoz own repo into a trace. Again, so this feels like uh, this complete thing is like copied from AI because so this particular statement is not making any sense. And when I read the complete blog, um, one thing which is good is that the person has mentioned so many points here, but again, the content which is inside the blog is not making any sense. You can just visit the link and you can see for yourself. But what could have been good here is that we should have explained a challenge here in the start. We should have shown what are we trying to achieve. Then we should have talked about the setup, and then we should have given some good code examples. Okay, this is what we are actually trying to achieve, and this is what I have, and this is how I'm trying to instrument things. And that is completely missing. So it's completely like statement heavy blog and not learning heavy blog. This is one of the example, and I have like one more example. Okay, so if you read this particular blog, it says that it's the first experience with SigNoz and exploring open source observability. But the blog finishes even before I give a first role. So this is like so this looks like a social post. And when you're writing a blog, it should not be a social post. It should be you instrumenting things in real life and then talking about things which you have instrumented, right? So if I talk about this blog, there is no proof of work, there is no validation, and there is only like statements that I've tried SigNoz, I've tried open source. But every blog should have an outcome. And if I'm reading it, it should utilize. So I should be able to utilize my time after reading your content. So this is again a bad example of writing. Now I'll show you some blogs which are just there and could have been improved if few of the points in the blog guide would have checked. So the checkpoints which we were talking about, if those checkpoints were would have been ticked, this blog would have been a good blog. So if you scroll through the blog, you won't find any screenshot, which again lacks validation. And it speaks about various implementations, which is good. But again, I do not, when I was reading this blog, I was not able to follow up because I was not even aware of the outcome which will come for me, right? So make sure you share your learning and also you share what outcome you have achieved. This is one of the example. Then if I take another example, I have like the same feedback for this person as well. So you have used like good diagrams in the blog, which is a good habit, but make sure you also show validation. Now this diagram shows me, okay, this is what you were trying to do, this is what happened, you had some findings, which is okay, but did you actually send data to SigNoz? Did you actually use SigNoz dashboard? Did you actually use SigNoz features? Did you actually used logging, tracing, or metrics tools? That is lacking, and this is where a good reader might drop from your blog. So make sure you do that. Now I'll share some good examples. So this is a very good example of a blog. So how I self-hosted SigNoz on Windows. And after just reading the so title is apt, and after just reading the title, I am aware that there is something called SigFault, which was causing trouble, and it's all like SigNoz is self-hosted on Windows, which is like a different angle. So this particular blog has very good starting. So it starts with the learning itself. Let me be very honest. Before I could even see a single trace inside SigNoz, I spent almost 2 hours fighting one stubborn crash. So even from the starting of the blog, I am able to follow along with the writer that, okay, there were few problems, and then this is how problems were solved. This is why blog was written, and why I wanted to self-host on first place and not go with any other option. How self-hosting can be done. Then he discussed about the problem which he was facing, 2 hours. So you can just clearly see that it has like good hook into it. And then we talk about the actual learnings. And after completing all the things, we actually show the outcome as well. So we did something, it did not work, we figured out, we troubleshooted, we debugged, and then we finally got an output which is here. And all the learnings are portrayed. Even the blog has good diagrams which shows me, okay, visually how the things were getting connected. And then we have like a good conclusion of all the things which was talked about in the blog. This is a good example of a blog. And then I have like few more. You can just see the link from here, and then you can just try to follow these blogs. These were like some good writings which I had. And this was also a good blog. It's very short, to the point, and it shows a validation. So this also saves times of the reader. This was also a good blog. And then this last blog, which I have to show you as a good example, was also a good blog. So again, it says, it has a challenge. It says what I have used, prerequisites and all, how you can set up things, what happened, or how did Flask app cause the trouble, adding open telemetry, seeing even after adding open telemetry, setting SigNoz as your backend for observability, what happened actually, how you can navigate SigNoz to catch the things which you are trying to see, fixing things, verifying things, going a step further by doing manual instrumentation, and then what was the learnings in the entire flow, and then a good conclusion. So this is example of a good blog. Okay, I'll just take few questions quickly, and then we'll move to designing an outliers from scratch. So we have to write 2 blogs for hackathon and 1 for blog contest. No, this is no. So you just have to write. Again, you can write as many blogs as you want first, but for blogging challenge, you just have to write the blog and make a submission. And for hackathon, you do not have to write the blog. You have to write. So you have to build a project. So in blog, we have give only idea. I did not get it, Gar. It's not only idea. You should have a use case, try to solve things, write about it, and share your learnings. Is having a good project to test SigNoz for blog necessary? Is having a good project to test SigNoz? No. See, if you have a good project, that's a plus point. But even if you want to test features of SigNoz, you can maybe build a different application and then try to test it out. Why we prefer already existing applications is because you know how that application works, and you know uh, the internals, and then you can set up the things early. So this is the only preference given. I had just started participating in a hackathon. I participated in Cogni, but this one is different as I was able to set up an environment with Cogni. But SigNoz, I know nothing. I don't even get the observability recommend how to get started. Again, everything is there on the page. You can just come on the uh, hackathon page, come to resources, quick start. With Foundry, you can just get started in minutes with SigNoz. So you don't have to even, you know, uh, bring in multiple things. Foundry is like a CLI tool for you. You can just run in few commands and you'll be ready with SigNoz. So you can just read out all the resources. That's all that's need to be done. How will we use SigNoz for our blog to show our work if we have to use it for hackathon? For again, see, this particular challenge is just to get you started with SigNoz. You do not have to mandatory take part in this particular challenge. If you have some application which you would like to observe, or if you are interested in exploring SigNoz features, you can definitely go ahead. But if you wish to keep your project, uh, which you want to, let's say, post in the hackathon, uh, away from all these challenges, feel free to do it. Start your project after 20th, but before that, if you wish to explore SigNoz features, and if you wish to get started with SigNoz early, this is the best chance for you. How to download it and perform a task resources page. The project and the blog should be interrelated. Garv, I think you should read uh, the read the challenge first, and then you'll get to know. Because I think currently you are feeling like what I feel that you are mixing the project which will start after 20th and blog together. This blogging challenge is separate, and the hackathon which will start after 20th is separate. Nope. So this is a blogging challenge. If you see here, for hackathon, we'll have to create a project after 20th. Just in case I choose blog and project, in case if I win, will I be considered for both? Yep. People with no tech background can take part in the blog contest. If you feel like you can instrument things, you can participate, but you might want to take a step ahead and learn things before writing things out. This is what I feel. How are we going to submit the project after the hackathon is over? Is the submission over? So blog submissions will stop on 19 July. After that, hackathon starts, and we'll probably share the project submission form by 22 or 23rd. I'll share all the links shortly with you, or maybe I'll also I'll maybe share it with you shortly. I'll share it in YouTube itself. No, I won't. I won't give you from scratch, but I'll tell you what things to keep in mind. I've already talked a lot, so you can just rewind and see. I've used SigNoz for Cloud Code observability and created a blog. Is that valid? Yep, that is valid. Okay, so now let's start with um, discussing the outline. So, can you give me like few points which you want to observe? Let's do it live. Okay, so let's say just give me some ideas, which can be anything related to application or agent observability, and I'll pick things up, and then I'll see how. Then I'll show you how to create a good outline. If you don't have, maybe maybe we can get started with. Oh, there is one more thing which I wanted to show you before that. So this is a blog which I found on SigNoz website. If you are writing a blog, this is also a good example. So if you read this, the title, you'll get to know that what the blog is about. So I built this dashboard with OpenTelemetry to monitor OpenClaw. Now OpenClaw was something very big just a couple of months ago, and now this blog is also really like 2 to 3, 4 months old. But if you see the blog, it starts with an interesting use case that OpenClaw is taking the world as of now. And then, so your use case can be interesting as well, that you wanted to try something new and you thought like, why not have SigNoz in it? And then you just went out, implemented, created a dashboard and saw that what all things are working for you. Again, so this is something where you have a latest technology and you are trying to implement new things with it. You have an open telemetry in place and then you are observing things on SigNoz. You have all the relevant examples, how to set things up, everything is there. And then you have validations and how the things, or how did your experiment perform. So this is also a good example. Okay, so let's get started. Maybe let's take Cloud Code itself. So let's say if I want to, or let's take an AI application, for example. So I'll generalize things. For example, let's say if you're building an AI application which is buzzing as of now. So I have an AI application with me in place, and now I've implemented SigNoz, and now I want to write a blog. So before even jumping into writing the blog, what is the best practice is just replicate all the steps which you have performed, so that you know that, okay, uh, this is what I want from starting, and this is how I want things to drive from the scratch. For example, let's say I have few LLMs in place. I have few data which I was feeding to LLM in place, right? I'm taking a very basic and generic example because we are short on time. So what I can do is I can just go to ChatGPT and say that, okay, I have an application, right? Or I have an AI application, let's say. So I have an AI application which I was observing with SigNoz, and now I want to write a blog with that application or on that application, let's say. Okay, now if you have your application in place, that would be good. Or maybe, so we'll do this in next office hours, but I'm just showing you how you can explore things before that. If you have application, you can just put in your application here, or just share a little bit about your application. If you have some outline in mind, that is beneficial in most of the case. So for example, what I'll do is I'll just extend the prompt a little bit. I'll say that here is, let's say, initial outline which I have in mind. Okay, so I'll just give the outline here now. For example, let's say I had an AI application, so I'll just maybe say that, okay, my AI application was, or since this is an outline, application for maybe ordering food. For example, let's say application for ordering food, AI application for ordering food. Then I have models. So model underneath, for example, let's say Olama. Then I'll say observing using SigNoz, or maybe mention OpenTelemetry, OTel and SigNoz, right? And so I'll be keeping very basic things right now. This is what I have given as in starter to ChatGPT. Right now, I'll just explain few things. I want to write a good outline for my blog. Can you review my initial outline and give me some ideas on what more I can cover in the article? That's it. So if you just give this, it will give you an idea. Again, do not just straight away copy it. Take inspiration and maybe try to implement things in that way in the application. But if you have your application in place, which I'll show you in the next workshop, you will get to know. So you might have a better outline ready even before going to ChatGPT. See, so it says that, so it has already figured out that we have three pillars: application, AI model, and observability. So again, the recommended it has already recommended a outline which says that introduction, why AI application actually needs observability. Again, so you should also be aware of what statements are generic and what statements are actually giving some, let's say, benefit to the reader. Why AI applications need observability is a generic statement, because you need to see how your application is working. So make sure you review AI work as well. So this is a very good example of avoiding AI writing as well, right? So why AI application needs observability, we are already aware of that. This is why we are observing our application on first place. What I built is a good point. So I have built this application. You should share a challenge and then say, okay, this is what I've built to overcome a challenge. You should share your application architecture. So you can, just from here, you can see it's giving good points and as well as bad points. So you'll have to keep good points in the blog in order to make it a good read. It says that share your application architecture, which can be interesting for developers who are using same stack. Why you choose the tools which you are using. What should be observed in an AI application? Again, it's a generic statement. Instrumenting the application with OpenTelemetry, how did you do it? So you gave just 3 points and it has like laid out a very big outline for you folks. All the things: conclusion, lesson learned, security and privacy, observability, and whatnot. So this is what I was trying to say. Use AI to help you and not just completely write things which AI gives you. There are few good examples which AI gives, but there are few places where AI messes things up. I think that's it. That's it for this particular workshop. And if you have joined just now, we were talking about how you can outline a good blog. And if you have not already taken part in SigNoz hackathon, which is starting next week, make sure you do it. You can find all the relevant links in the description, or you can just go to www.vimedis.org/hackathon/SigNoz. We are really excited for this hackathon. To get you started with SigNoz, we are also hosting a blogging challenge this week. So if you are interested in writing good technical blogs or good guides which can be replicated easily, make sure you take part and write something good on SigNoz features. I'll just take last questions and then we'll conclude. I think we had a very good session of 45 minutes, and tomorrow I'll have, like, not tomorrow, maybe day after tomorrow's office hour, we'll have some application, and with that application we'll try to create an even good version of blog outline. This was just to show you how you can hit the ground. Yep. Thank you for being here. I think that's it. Thank you, folks. If you have not already taken part, just check the link in the description. You'll find all the relevant details. And I hope you make a good blog submission. And we'll see you in the hackathon starting next week. Really excited. Thank you. Bye.